Alright everyone, welcome back to another video, and today what I have for everyone is my full review of the Moto Edge 2020. So I've been using this device non-stop for a good amount of time, and I feel like I've gathered all my thoughts and opinions on it, and that's what I'm going to share with everyone today in this full review. So hopefully by the end of this video, you guys and gals know if this older flagship device is still worth picking up here in 2020. All right? That's what this whole review is designed to help you guys and gals figure out. But before we can come to our overall full conclusion, we got to run through all the categories. Y'all know how we do in full review category style. So without further ado, let's jump into today's full review. All right. Now, starting off here, let's talk about the overall build quality and design of the device. All right. Now, build quality wise, we got an aluminum and plastic and glass sandwich here. Okay. So we got glass up front. In particular, this is Gorilla Glass 5. We got a aluminum mid frame. Okay. And then we got a plastic back. All right, it's kind of a glossy, multicolored plastic back here, as you can see. But that's what we got in terms of build materials. And specifically in terms of build materials, the glass on this one wraps around all the way to the edge here, or the frame. So you can see the frame itself is actually super thin right there, because the glass comes all the way around, and it does that on both sides. So in terms of the frame for the device, it's actually super thin. All right. It's more glass on this device than there is frame and plastic. Okay. But that is what we have in terms of build materials. Now that does do a few things. That does make the device look really, really good. It almost gives you an all display style look. And it also makes the device feel really, really light and comfortable in the hands, but also maintain a nice solid weight. Okay? Now, I have to tell y'all, I do like the overall look of this device, right? But I'm not a big fan of the wraparound glass design. So that's not my cup of tea. But some of you guys and gals may like that. One of the reasons why I don't like that is because it leads to a lot of mispresses. Okay? Especially when I'm using the device day to day and I got to pick it up and do something, type out an email, or, dictate a voice message real quick and I'm hitting the microphone, or I'm typing out a text message. 9 times out of 10, my hands and my fingers are tapping the wrong spots on the screen because of that wraparound display design. I'm more of a fan of the flat display design. That's why my daily driver devices have flat displays. Because when I pick up my device, I don't want to have to worry about random mispresses, and I don't want to have to worry about accidental activations. That's why some of my favorite devices have flat displays. Okay? So in terms of the design, because I don't like the curved display design, I'm bumping the design down to really good. But in terms of the build quality overall, I have to say Motorola has done a top-notch job on this device right here. So combining the top-notch and the really good, that brings the build quality down and the design stays the same. So overall, in terms of the build quality and design for the Moto Edge 2020, I have to say it's really good overall. Okay, let's move on now. Up next now, and let me just load up something for y'all to look at real quickly here. Let's talk about this display. All right, let me pull up a YouTube video, give y'all something real nice to look at. And let me turn down the volume so we don't get any copyright infringement. We're going to do a speaker test later on, but let me just pull this up. Okay, let me make sure the display is set to the highest resolution. So 4K, right there, right there. And let's talk about this display. Let me angle it up for y'all. All right. So you can see in terms of the display, and let me show y'all real quickly. It is set to the maximum resolution. You can see it right there. 4K, 2160p. All right. But let's talk about the display now. In terms of the display, up front, we have a 6.7 inch OLED 90 Hz HDR10 plus 1080p display. All right. And like I said before, because of the wraparound design, you pretty much have an almost bezel-less experience. Okay. Because of that wraparound design, with the only dent on that being the punch hole camera on the side for the front facing camera. But other than that, this is a really, really nice display. In terms of the resolution for the display, this bad boy is packing a resolution of 1080p by 2340. So it has that stretched 19.5 aspect ratio display. In particular, 19.5 by 9 aspect ratio display with a screen density or PPI of 385 pixels per inch. And again, we already went over what the display technology is in the OLED and the Gorilla Glass in Gorilla Glass 5, right? But in terms of using this display in the day-to-day, now that we've ran through all the technical specifications for you guys and gals that like to know that, and I'm going to put up some B-roll and post so y'all can see for yourselves. In terms of using this display on the day-to-day, this is a really good display. Now, I did notice an issue with the display that I'm going to point out in a second here, but in terms of day-to-day usage, I didn't have any issues with this display. Using it outdoors in direct sunlight, it got more than bright enough for me to see it and do what I need to do, whether that be turn-by-turn navigation or just using my device in general. Didn't have any issues with this display. So overall, I have to say Motorola, again, has done a top-notch job in terms of the display. But now I have to point out the issue that I ran into with this display. And when I'm using the display in dark mode, it has like a green tint to it. Okay? And it's only when I'm using the display in applications where I have to do something or stream something. So like YouTube, Pandora, Netflix, Hulu, things of that nature. When I'm on the regular system or system interface, no issues. Everything looks exactly the way it's supposed to look. But when I start streaming something and the device is in dark mode, let me show y'all, it has like a weird green tint to it. So to get around that, and that green tint kind of plays tricks on my eyes. But to get around that, all I've done was put it into light mode or regular mode. But y'all can see, and I think my cameras can represent it quite well. Look at that green tint on there. So that is an issue with the display, in my opinion. Okay. And that's something that was a big issue for me because, as I said, it kind of started to play tricks on my eyes. And then I started to get headaches from it. So I was like, man, let me figure out what's going on. But while I figured out what was going on, I just used it in regular mode. And then I don't have that issue. But I did figure out, and big shout out to the Telegram groups, man. I did figure out what that green tint is. And I did do some research around the internet, and I found some stuff on Reddit. And again, big shout out to my friends in the Telegram groups that I'm a part of, because that green tint means that there's a problem with the display connector on my device. Either the display connector is loose or the display connector is going bad. That's what that green tint is. Okay? So although I can use the device, that is an issue with the display. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. I'm going to tell y'all right now up front. I was going to sell this to a friend of mine to put that money back into the channel. but I can't knowingly sell someone a product with something wrong with it. So what I'm going to do is, after I'm done recording all my coverage on the device, I'm going to do a return/replacement on Amazon and see if the next unit that they send me is better. Because upon doing more research, Motorola's flagship devices are known for having that display issue with the green tint. Alright? And this issue ran rampant on Motorola's flagship devices from the 2020 series all the way up to the 2023 series. Alright? They finally solved this issue with their flagship Edge device on the 2024 series. So the 2024 series no longer has that display issue where you get that green tint, meaning that the display connector is loose or going bad. But as I said, I can't knowingly sell someone a device that I know has an issue. So after I'm done doing all of my coverage, I will initiate a return/replacement on Amazon and see if the next unit that I get doesn't have that issue. If it does, I do have another device that I could sell them instead of this one, but they did have their heart set on buying this device from me. I really do appreciate that, because not only do they get a good deal, but I get more funds that I could put back into the channel. So I really do appreciate that. But as I said, that is the one major issue that I ran into with this display. Okay? So that issue downgrades the display from what was previously top-notch to really good. Because there wasn't that issue with the display connector, this would be a top-notch display. But because there's that issue, and I really do experience it, and it gives me issues in terms of headaches, I really have to downgrade my top-notch rating to a really good rating. And hopefully my next device, after I do the replacement, doesn't have that green tint issue. Okay? And shout out to my friend. If you watch my videos, I apologize for the delay, but I can't knowingly sell you a bad device. It's not in me. My main core principle is built around honesty and finding people the best deals possible and always doing the best that I can, point blank, period. You do the best that you can, and then you hope for the best, and then you get blessed with the best. That's how that works. You do the best, you hope for the best, you get blessed with the best. Amen. Amen. So, the display on this one, top notch, okay? But because of that issue, really good. Now, moving on here, let's dive into some more of the hardware and then talk about my overall experiences with the software on this device right here. Okay? Now, in terms of the hardware, we already went over the display, but I'm going to rehash it one more time. It has a 6.7 inch OLED 90 Hz HDR10 Plus display that is 1080p plus in 1080p by 2340 resolution with a 19.5 by 9 aspect ratio and a screen density of 385 pixels per inch. Okay? And it's a Gorilla Glass 5 display. Okay? Other hardware. In terms of the processor, we are running the older Snapdragon 865 5G chip and the Adreno 620 GPU. So we got that flagship old school processor, which is more than powerful enough to do what you need to do in terms of day-to-day usage. Now, in terms of the RAM and storage and expandability, this bad boy is packing, this is the higher end variant because this variant came in either 4 gigs of RAM or 128 gigs of storage, or 6 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage. And this one is the 2 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of storage variant with micro SD card expansion. Okay? So that's what we're packing in terms of the internals. And then in terms of the cameras, we got a 64 megapixel primary, a 16 megapixel ultra wide, and an 8 megapixel telephoto. I think I kept messing that up in my camera review. I kept calling it a 5 megapixel, but it is an 8 megapixel telephoto sensor. So 64 megapixels, 16 megapixels, 8 megapixels, and then we have a 3D time of flight sensor for your bokeh and your focusing. Okay, so that's what we have in terms of the cameras on the rear. Now, in terms of the cameras on the rear, you can record it up to 4K at 60 FPS with the primary camera. Okay, if you want to take advantage of being able to switch between all the cameras, however, you can only record in up to 1080p at 30 FPS. That way you can switch between all the rear-facing cameras on your device. If you record at anything higher than 1080p 30 FPS, then it's going to limit you to only being able to record with the primary 64 megapixel sensor. Okay, you can also do 720p 240 frames per second slow motion or 1080p 120 frames per second slow motion as well with the rear facing cameras. Now, switching over to the front facing camera here. Okay, in terms of the front facing camera that you can see right there, it's a 25 megapixel sensor camera, and it can record in up to 1080p at 30 FPS. But it can also do 1080p 120 frames per second slow motion video as well. Okay, so that's what we have in terms of the cameras on this device. Talking about other hardware on this device right here, we do have dual or stereo, I shouldn't really call it dual, stereo speakers with one front firing speaker and one bottom firing speaker. And then also we do have a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. And then in terms of charging, we do have turbo fast charge with 18 watt wired charging available on this device. And that is indeed fast charging. I'm going to verify that for you guys a little bit later on in the video. But in terms of hardware, that's everything that we're rocking right there. Okay, and then also we do have Bluetooth 5.1, AC Wi-Fi as well. All that good stuff is packed in here. Okay. Now, moving on, let's talk about the software on this device right here. And I have to say, this is where Motorola shines, because you have all of the Motorola suite in this device right here. So you get it on top of a stock Android experience. Now, I've done a full Motorola suite software walkthrough. I'll link that video down below. But in terms of the software, you got your Moto display or your peak display. You got your twist to launch you into the cameras. That's awesome right there. You got your chop for the flashlight when you're not in the cameras. So you got your chop and it turns the flashlight on. And I use these features every day. And then in particular with the cameras, you can also do an extra twist to switch you between the front and the rear facing cameras. How y'all doing, y'all? So these are really, really nice, convenient lifestyle features in my opinion. And the fact that Motorola has done this on top of implementing a stock Android experience, it is phenomenal. And then alongside that, in terms of the software, we do have face unlock. So you can see that little padlock is up and it scans for my face, and you can see face not detected. But you did see it did unlock earlier. So you can see it right there. I have it set up to work like my iPhone. So it scans my face but stays on the lock screen. And then I just have to swipe up to get into the device. And then alongside that, we do have an optical under display fingerprint scanner, which is super duper fast and responsive as well. And I haven't had any issues with the fingerprint sensor. So in terms of the software, it's really good stuff right here. And I do like Motorola's implementation of their software into the stock Android experience. Now, primarily, what version of Android are we running? Well, we're running Android 11 on this device right here, and that's pretty much where it stops, okay? So it doesn't get any better than Android 11, and let me show y'all real quickly. I wish it did get a software update to the latest version. That would make it super duper sweet, but it does not. But let me show y'all. So let's go into advanced. Let's go into software updates. Y'all can see it right there, Android 11. And if I tap on it, it's going to scan, and you can see it does say you are up to date. Okay, so it's currently running Android 11, and it's on the August 1st, 2022 security patch, right? So that's kind of a bummer right there, but the Play Store is still up to date with the latest Play Store version. So all of my Android apps are up to date in terms of their versions. So all of the Android apps that I use on a regular basis are working and performing just fine. So although the software is on a greatly older version, all of my apps in terms of functionality and security are up to date. So I haven't run into issues with any applications or things like that, but I am missing out on some of the features that I got coming from a device running the latest version of Android. And I gotta tell y'all, it was a big adjustment. Okay, let me get off of my studio lights right there. But it was a big adjustment going backwards from Android 14 to Android 11, especially with the fact that I've gotten used to how Android 14 is laid out, and I pretty much set it up exactly the way I want. So it was a big adjustment going backwards from Android 14, the latest version of Android, to Android 11, but it was still doable. But I did run into a lot of bugs with the software that I do feel could have been ironed out if they had gotten some more software updates. So in terms of the software, I would just have to say it's really good. In terms of the hardware, I would have to say it's top notch. And in terms of the hardware and software together on the whole, I would have to say they're overall really good. Okay? Now, let's keep it moving now. So we already talked about the hardware and the software. So let's dive into the Wi-Fi and the overall Wi-Fi performance. And this Wi-Fi performance test will also double as a speaker test as well. So let me go ahead and pull it up for y'all. Okay. And I'll have the copyright-free music and the artist linked up down below in the video description. I'm all about showing support to the local artists and, you know, giving credit where credit needs to be given. So let's load up this copyright-free music now. Okay. Let me go in here. And then let's go over here. And I was going to use this one right here. Alright, so let me angle up my microphone, and then we're going to turn it up, and I will give y'all a Wi-Fi test and a speaker sample. So let's rewind this. Let's pause this. Let me angle my microphone up real good. Now for reference, my mic is right here, okay? Right here off camera. That's less than a foot away from what y'all can see here. So you should get a really nice overall audio sample. Let's turn up the speakers all the way. Max those bad boys out. Okay, good stuff. And then now let me go ahead and push play. So I'm gonna let it play for a little bit so y'all can hear how it sounds. Then I'm gonna scrub through the video back and forth so we can check the Wi-Fi performance. And then I'm gonna give y'all my overall opinions on the overall Wi-Fi performance. So without further ado, let's go. So let me go ahead and push play. let's check the overall Wi-Fi performance now. Let's go. So scrubbing forward. Okay, scrubbing forward. Scrubbing backwards. There you go. Okay, so as you guys and gals can see, in terms of the Wi-Fi, no issues, right? No issues whatsoever. In terms of the speakers, these are some really good speakers in my opinion, but, and you already know what I'm going to say, I wish they were dual front firing, but they are really good. Motorola is known for having some really good speakers on their devices, and it does not disappoint. And the Wi-Fi on this device is really good as well. And let me just show y'all, we'll do a quick data test as well, because I am running this on Free Up Mobile AT&T. So let me turn my Wi-Fi off. And now we're on 4G LTE Plus on Free Up Mobile AT&T. And we're going to run that video again. So let me show y'all real quickly. See, y'all see that 5GE? That's really 4G LTE Plus. And this is running on AT&T. So now let me pull the video back up. And you can see, let that load up. And it's working perfectly fine. Okay? On 4G LTE Plus. Okay? And if y'all don't believe me, let's close out the video, close it out, and we'll load it back up. No issues whatsoever, you see? So the 4G LTE Plus working on this device, no problem, on AT&T, Free Up Mobile AT&T. So data is working, no problem. Wi-Fi is working, no problem. No issues with the overall Wi-Fi performance. No issues with the overall data performance. So top notch in both of those categories, right? Now, with that being said, let's go over the LTE and supported bands on this device. Now, this particular device does support 5G, but it does depend on your carrier. But in particular, in terms of 5G, this device only supports the sub-6 5G bands, right? But in terms of 4G LTE, it supports all the 4G LTE bands except for band 81, all right? So 1 through 71 and no 81. And in terms of 5G and sub-6 bands only, it supports 1 through 7, 25 through 71, and 78. But that's only sub-6, okay? So, technically speaking, this will work on Verizon, but you'll only get 4G LTE. That being said, I only tested this on AT&T Free Up Mobile. So I only tested this on a GSM network, even though theoretically it should work on a CDMA network as well. And y'all know Verizon is a CDMA network, but my main SIM is in my iPhone, and I don't plan on taking it out of my iPhone anytime soon, but technically it should work. But it works on the GSM carriers, no problems, because if it works on AT&T, it will definitely work on T-Mobile. All right, so if you have a GSM carrier, it should work no problems. And again, this is a globally unlocked device. So it's supposed to support GSM networks and CDMA networks globally, okay? But in terms of the states, it should support CDMA and GSM networks. So AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, Sprint, it should work no problems. But I only tested it on the GSM network in AT&T with Free Up Mobile. All right, and if you take it overseas, it should work on all the GSM networks overseas as well with no problems. Okay, so there we ran over the LTE and the band supported, and we ran over the Wi-Fi performance. Both top notch in my overall opinion. I might combine these two categories together just to make it easier. Okay, up next now, let's talk about the overall Bluetooth performance. Now, y'all can't see it because my watch is on the charger, but in terms of Bluetooth performance, I use this with my Galaxy Watch. I use this with multiple earbuds, and I didn't have any issues. So the Bluetooth performance on here is top notch. Okay, and in particular, this is rocking Bluetooth 5.1 on board, so it's definitely not the latest and greatest, but it still is really good in my overall opinion. Okay, so Bluetooth performance is top notch. Next, same too can be said for the GPS performance. I tested out the turn-by-turn navigation, and I did a few things that need to have GPS enabled. In particular, when you're using your watch out and about and you don't have Wi-Fi, it uses GPS and Bluetooth to give you that solid connectivity. So when you're in the gym, where I don't connect to the gym's Wi-Fi, I use my LTE or my 5G, and my GPS worked no problems, right? And I tested out the turn-by-turn navigation. It worked no problems. So the overall GPS performance, in my opinion and in my experience, is top-notch. Next, let's go over what I feel is a very important category, even though a lot of people don't like to do it that much anymore. Let's talk about the overall call quality and the speaker call quality on this device. Now, in terms of the call quality, it worked phenomenally. Okay, again, call quality is more location and carrier based and coverage based. And in Florida, where I'm located, Free Up Mobile AT&T gives you just as good performance as Straight Talk Verizon. So I have two sub-carriers that I use for testing and personal use, and they both perform phenomenally. Now, if I had to pick, I would say Straight Talk Verizon runs a little bit better here in Florida than Free Up Mobile AT&T. But in terms of my location, Free Up Mobile AT&T and Straight Talk Verizon are the best carriers. That's why I use them when I'm testing them on my devices, okay? Because they're the best carriers, all right? So no issues there in terms of call quality or speaker call quality. It was top notch. And I gotta say, speaker call quality in general was actually really, really good, man. Really good. Crisp, clear, loud, no issues. Now, I did take some phone calls, but if I'm being 100% honest with y'all, primarily what I did the most was video phone calls, okay? Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, Telegram, video phone calls, okay? That's primarily how I like to do a lot of my phone calls these days, and that's my friend's fault, okay? Since I switched to an iPhone, all my friends with iPhones, they don't do regular calls anymore, okay? The first thing I see, FaceTime call. So as a result, I've gotten used to using the other variations of FaceTime on my Android devices. Again, a Facebook Messenger video call, a Telegram video call, a WhatsApp video call, and it's all thanks to my friends that have an iPhone, because they love using that damn FaceTime. And I can't lie, FaceTime is really good. I could see why they love using it, okay? But in terms of that, I didn't have any issues in terms of call quality. No issues whatsoever. So call quality and speaker call quality, in my opinion, is top notch. Now, let's go over my experiences with the cameras, and I'm going to give y'all how I feel about it. Now, I've done a separate dedicated camera review / camera walkthrough video. I'll link that up down below in the video description for y'all to check out. And if I remember, I'll throw up the card somewhere in the video so y'all can click right to it. So feel free to check that video out and then come back to this full review and share your opinions down below in the comments. Please remember to share your opinions respectfully. We're all grown-ups. We should all be able to respectfully share our opinions. Okay? Alright, so with that being said, I like to judge camera performance on 3 distinctive categories: point and shoot photo performance, point and shoot video performance, and overall audio capture capabilities. All right. And this is where I have to say the Moto Edge 2020 performed really, really well. Not the best, and I did run into some issues, but overall it performed really, really well. You can say it performed really good. So in terms of photo performance, as long as I had good to really good lighting, I was able to get some really good photos. I'm going to throw up some of my favorite photos in post. I wish I had more than just photos of myself, because I don't like taking photos. All right. I love capturing beauty. I love showing beauty. I don't like being the subject of beauty. Okay. I'm just the cameraman. I like to be behind the camera. But I'll throw up some of my favorite photos that I took in post. And like I said, as long as I was able to get really good lighting, I was able to get some really good photos. And that too carried over to the video performance. As long as I had really good lighting, I was able to take some really good video. Okay? And in particular, some of the unboxings and full reviews that I've shot, portions of those videos were taken with the rear cameras on this device. And again, if you forgot, you got a 25 megapixel front-facing camera that can record in up to 1080p, 30 FPS, and do 120 frames per second slow motion in 1080p. And then you got a triple camera setup with a time of flight sensor for depth and focus information that can record in up to 4K at 60 FPS and do 240 frames per second slow motion. And it's 64, 16, and 8 megapixels on the rear. Okay? Just in case you forgot, I wanted to run it down one more time. But in terms of the video performance, it is really good as long as I have really good to great lighting. But the minute you lose light, these cameras suffer. Okay? Now, talking about overall audio capture capabilities, again, this device did a really great job. And the fact that I was able to, after finally figuring it out, plug in external audio microphones, because I kept getting crash errors, but I just had to restart the device a few times and then reopen and reclose the app a few times, and then it started to work. Okay? But after testing that out, even if the device was not capable of taking or capturing really good audio, which it is, I can easily plug in external professional audio and still get really good audio with the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack that's incorporated in here. So it's really nice to know that I can get really good audio without having to take up my USB Type-C port to get really good audio with adapters or plug-and-play wireless audio. Okay? So the overall photo capture capabilities, the overall point-and-shoot video capture capabilities, and the overall audio capture capabilities on this device are really good. Are they perfect? Are they top-notch? No. Do they need some improvements? Yes. But for what they are, and if you're patient enough, you can get some really good performance out of this device. Okay? Up next now, let's talk about the overall gaming performance on this device. And again, I did a separate dedicated gaming performance video. I'll link up portions of that. I'll link up the video down below, but I'll throw up some B-roll of that in post so y'all can get an idea of how it performed. But the overall gaming performance on here was really good as well. I did about 3 to 5 hours of continuous gaming, and I did notice some hiccups while I was gaming for that period, and I did notice the back of the device did get really, really warm, but the overall performance stayed really good. Really good. Now, it wasn't super buttery smooth throughout. That's why it's not top notch. But for what it was really good. Okay? I can't complain. Alright? So the overall gaming performance with this device is really good. Now, let's get into another important category. And again, this next category has me feeling kind of indifferent about this device. Let me explain. So let's get into talking about the overall battery life and the overall charge times of this device. All right. Now, y'all know me. I like to show a bunch of my metrics. I like to show a bunch of my data because showing is proving to me. And especially with my experiences from college, right? My professors always used to say, if you can prove your statements with cited work, then there's no way that we can dispute you. All right. So I'm all about citing my work. That's why I like to do my testing the way I do it. And I like to show y'all the results that I show y'all, because I'm all about showing my work around here and keeping it straight 100 around here. But I did run into some problems with my testing and recording applications to get the metrics. So at that point, I kept running into issues with it. So I figured, let me stop struggling with it and let me just shoot the review and show y'all what I can show y'all. Okay? So in particular, when we talk about the battery life, let's run down the battery specifications first. So this particular device has a 4,500 milliamp hour non-replaceable, non-removable battery, and it does support 18-watt turbo fast charging with the USB Type-C charging port at the bottom. Okay? Just so y'all know what you have here. And I was indeed able to verify that with my verification and charging metrics applications. So here's one, the Ampere application. This lets me verify the battery and the charge rates and the discharge rates. And you can see I can indeed verify that it is a 4,500 milliamp hour battery. Okay? And then also, I can indeed verify for everyone that this device does support fast charging. Let me show y'all here. So if I just go down, check out these screenshots that I took from plugging it in. So it has a peak fast charging rate of 35 watts. So it says 18 watts, but I saw a peak fast charging rate of 35 watts. The way I look at this is anything over 1800 milliamps is fast charging. So it peaked at 3500 milliamps. So that's really good. But it did slow down to 20 milliamps. Okay. And it did slow down, down to about 17 milliamps, with continued charging. But that's to be expected. That's kind of how the charging works. It's really fast the lower the battery percentage, and then it tends to slow down the more full the battery gets. So from 5% to 50% is going to be really, really fast. And then from 50% to 80% is going to be a little bit slower. And then from 80% to 100% is probably going to be the slowest. Now, based on what I experienced, from 80% to 90% was still kind of quick, but from 90% to 100% was kind of slow. Okay? But overall, the charging on here was decent. Let me explain. So let me pull up another one of my applications here, and we'll talk about the battery metrics after I show y'all the charging metrics here. Where is it? Where is it? Right here. Boom. So let me pull up AccuBattery here, and let me show y'all. So going into history, right? Y'all can see just how many charges I put on the device since I got it. And y'all can see again, the overall battery is 4,500 milliamps. And you can see the overall battery health, which is 95%. So this is an Amazon refurbished device. And with Amazon refurbished devices, they promise at least a battery health of 80%. Okay, now if you get an Amazon refurbished premium device, they promise a battery health of at least 90%. but I'm very happy to report and see that the battery health on this device was 95% after my cycling and testing period. Okay, so really good stuff there, Amazon, really good stuff indeed. But jumping back over and talking about the charging, this is where I'm feeling indifferent, because you can see the charging on here actually took a long time to get to full. And I would say on average, it took anywhere from about 2.5 to just over 3 hours to get to full, right? And then my app kept breaking. So you can see I got a few full 100% charges, but you can see there's a lot of breaks because my app kept breaking. And with older Android, that was a known issue. Now, I did disable all the optimizations that could be breaking it, but it still kept breaking. So I just got really, really frustrated, and that's why I was like, okay, I pretty much know how I feel about the device. Let's make the full review video. But in terms of the charging, if you're not charging the full, it's relatively fast. But if you do need to charge the full, you are going to need to have some time available. Okay? Okay? And as you can see there, it doesn't charge relatively quickly if you're charging the full. Right? But that being said, the battery life on here is phenomenal. Let me show y'all some more screenshots here. So let me jump back over. And this was from a particularly lighter day, but I easily got through the day. And you can see I got 5 hours of screen on time there. And then where's my heavier day? I had a heavier day the other day. And then you can see this was a little bit heavier day. I got through the day, no problems. 7 hours of screen on time there. And then I had a really heavy day in here somewhere. Yeah, okay. Here's the really heavy day. So I got through a 24-hour period. So basically the whole day. And you can see I got 11 hours and 40 minutes of screen on time. And this was consistent. Let me show y'all. Let me get back over here. So this was consistent here. So you can see this particular day, I got through that 24-hour day, 11 hours. Let me show y'all again. This particular day was 7 hours, but I got through the whole day, no problems. Okay? Let me show y'all another one. This particular day was a little bit heavier day. Still got through the day, no problems. 9 hours of screen on time. Could have easily got 10 hours there. 6 hours of screen on time here. 7 hours there. 10 hours there. Almost 11 there. The battery life on here is phenomenal, guys. It's phenomenal. Okay? So the charge times may not be the best, but the overall battery life is phenomenal. And I gotta tell y'all, I was pleasantly surprised. And you can see I almost got 12 hours of screen on time there. That was a really heavy day there. But again, I was really surprised because this device has a 90 hertz refresh rate. So it has a high refresh rate. And normally that high refresh rate does take a toll on the battery. So 9 times out of 10, and because I can't notice the high refresh rate, I just tend to turn it off. But this particular high refresh rate is locked at 90 hertz. So I couldn't turn it off even if I wanted to, right? And I gotta say, now granted, the device has always been a buttery smooth experience, even before I loaded all my apps on it. And I loaded about 200 plus apps on it, as y'all can see here. And it's been pretty much a buttery smooth experience. So I can't distinguish the 90 hertz high refresh rate. And I did go in to developer options and enable it so I can see when the screen is actually hitting 90 hertz and it's locked at 90 hertz. All right. So no matter what I do on the device, whether I'm navigating the OS or I'm streaming media, playing games or what have you, it's locked at 90 hertz. So the fact that I was able to get phenomenal battery life with it being locked at 90 hertz, I was really, really pleasantly surprised. And this is why I say for the battery life and charging category, I'm indifferent. Because the battery life is phenomenal, but the charge times, especially me, I'm someone that likes to charge to full. This way I know I can get through the day because I don't like having battery anxiety. I don't like being out and about and doing things for people, or being out and about and at the gym and 10%, then I start getting a little nervous, especially with everything that I have running. I don't like having battery anxiety, and I was very happy to see that pretty much regardless of whatever I needed to do, I can easily get through the day, whether it was a lighter day or a heavy day, and there was no battery anxiety with this device. And again, I was surprised because it's locked at 90 hertz. But Motorola has always been the king of battery life in my experience, and it's good to see that their flagship devices, even their older ones, still maintain that crown. Because I can guarantee you, some of the Galaxy devices that I've tested, even though they had some great battery life, they're not holding a candle to what Motorola has always consistently been putting out. So this is why I say the battery life and overall charge times categories have me feeling indifferent, because it's phenomenal battery life, but it's really slow wired charging. And there is no wireless charging. Especially for the fact that this was your flagship device. Come on, Motorola. Why is there no wireless charging? And especially being somebody that's disabled, and I really, really hate, and that's a strong word, but I hate having to fight with cables. You guys and gals don't know, especially with the new setup that I have for my iPhone. I have one of my favorite wireless chargers set up by my bedside, and then I have a MagSafe wireless charger set up by my bedside. And when I come in at night, I'm tired, I want to hit the bed, I just drop my iPhone on either the MagSafe wireless charger or my favorite wireless charger, and I'm out. Pull back the sheets, jump in the bed, I'm out. Okay? So it's been kind of sad for me that some of my favorite Android devices that I use on a regular basis don't have wireless charging. And that means that I do eventually have to fight with plugging in cables. Now, it's a little bit less of a fight because it's all USB Type-C, baby. And this is a reversible fast charging cable. And I have really long, durable charging cables. So it is a little bit less of a fight. But I just don't want to struggle with it. I'm okay with having slower wireless charging, even though some of the newer devices that are coming out these days, I'm looking at you, OnePlus, have really good, fast wireless charging. So I definitely want to look at a OnePlus device real soon and pick up a OnePlus device real soon. But come on, man. Come on, man. Motorola, where's the wireless charging at? And alongside that, there was no Ready For. I really wanted to experience Motorola's Ready For Samsung DeX-like desktop environment for their device. Okay? And y'all already know I stay DeX ready. Okay? I stay DeX ready. I have a bunch of wireless keyboards and mouses that charge up via USB Type-C, right? I've converted my whole setup to USB Type-C and wireless a long time ago, so I stay DeX ready. So it's nothing for me to cast a display to my monitor or my TV and pull out my wireless keyboard and mouse and edit a video. And it's nothing for me to wirelessly put all my editing, everything that I need to edit for a video onto my tablet and then connect up my wireless keyboard and mouse and edit my videos on my tablet. So I was really looking forward to testing out the ready for experience, and I'm kind of sad to see that it's not available on the Moto Edge 2020. And I did do my research, and a lot of what I was reading was saying, oh yeah, it works, it's compatible, but no, it's not here. I'm always sad when I see that. I do a bunch of research, then I get super excited, thinking, oh, okay, that device has exactly what I'm looking for. And then I pick it up, only to realize that it doesn't have it, and then I'm disappointed. Happens all the time. I do a bunch of research, because I'm all about measuring 10 times and cutting once. So I always do a bunch of research so I can be like, okay, this device has everything that I need. Then I get it, super pumped, super excited, super stoked. And then it's missing one or two key features that I thought it would have that it doesn't have. And I get really disappointed. So, yeah. Sorry, y'all. I went off on a little bit of a rant there. But yeah. That goes over the battery life and the overall charge time on this device. And I'm sorry for that rant. But you know, I'm really, really passionate about these devices and products that I bring into the channel. And when they're missing things or they disappoint me, I really have to let you guys and gals know. Because I spend my hard-earned money. So y'all can decide if you want to spend yours. Alright? So now, let's get into the final part of this review. Let's talk pricing. Let's talk overall availability. Let me get into sharing my final thoughts, and let me make my overall final recommendations. Okay? So, in terms of the pricing, right? And I'll have a screenshot of my digital receipt thrown up in post. Okay? I picked up the device itself. After taxes, this device ran me $192.30. And then I also picked up this case to go with it because you know I'm Mr. Super Clumsy, so I gotta have a case. And this case ran me $10.70. So these two things together ran me a grand total of $203 flat, if my math is correct. Again, check out the digital screenshot of the receipt that I'll have thrown up in post so y'all can verify my math. But for $203 or just over $200, this is a really good deal. Is it perfect? No. Does it need some improvements? Yes. But for what it is a really nice package. Okay? And let's check the live listings real quick. I did get the last one that was in stock. So let's see if there's some more in stock. So let me go to my orders. Let me go to the device. Let me go to 256 gigs. Let me go to the live listing and boom. Okay, so I got mine for just over $200, including the case, $203 to be exact. But right now it's going for between $180 and $350. And again, that doesn't include the taxes. That doesn't include shipping and handling, right? That's just the device, and that doesn't include the case, right? But the cheapest one I see in used, refurbished, good condition, which is basically what I have here, is $179.99, so $180. And the best one I see, so pretty much brand new, refurbished condition, is $350. So at that price, can I recommend that you guys and gals go out there and pick up this device? Well, I'm going to have to say yes. If you're in the market for a new device and you really don't want to break the bank by getting something super new, but you want some really good overall solid performance with some really good phenomenal battery life, and you want a stock experience with some really key features thrown in and some really good cameras, you really can't go wrong with this device right here. Okay, so can I recommend you guys and gals pick up this device here in 2024? I would have to say yes, yes indeed. Am I going to be keeping this device? Well, I already told y'all early in the video, no I am not. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to initiate my return/replacement. And then I'm going to see if I can get another device with a better display, and I will be selling this to a really good friend of mine and putting that money back into the channel, because you know we got to keep the videos flowing. Okay, but can I recommend you guys and gals pick up this device? If you're interested in picking it up, I would have to say yes, yes indeed. Okay, but that, guys and gals, does it for today's video. As always, I hope you guys and gals enjoyed the video. I hope you guys and gals found it helpful. If you did, you know what to do. As always, if you guys and gals would like to see more content like this, and or if this video piques your interest, please feel free to hit that subscribe button down below. Also, feel free to hit the notification bell icon right next to the subscribe button down below. And also feel free to follow me across all the social media platforms. I'll have all my social media links linked up down below in the video description, along with all of my extended coverage on this device, along with the affiliated buy links where you guys and gals can pick up this device for a really great price. All of that stuff will be available down below in the video description. And as the name implies, I feel compelled to mention this all the time so people know, as the name implies, it's affiliated buy links, meaning that when you guys and gals use those links, I do get a small percentage of commission that I do put back into the channel. But your overall checkout price, when you make an order using those links, does not change. Okay? So I consider those affiliate links a win-win for everyone, in my opinion. So if your interest is piqued, please use those affiliate links to make your purchase. If you want to, you don't have to, okay? But it would be greatly appreciated. And also, don't forget, everything that I covered on this device, all my extended coverage on this device, will be linked up down below in the video description as well. So again, the video description will be like a one-stop shop for you guys and gals, and you should be good to go. Okay? Today's video was recorded using the rear-facing primary camera on the Samsung Galaxy S10e in 1080p at 30 FPS, and I am using my Moto 360 microphone to record the audio here today. So please let me know what you think of the overall video quality, as well as what you think of the overall audio quality down below. As always, all your feedback is greatly appreciated. And remember, guys and gals, keep it respectful, please. All right, everyone. I hope everyone is having a great day. I hope you guys and gals are staying safe out there. And I will catch everyone in the next one. Have a good one, everybody. We are out of here. Peace. Oh boy, I hate doing returns. I hate doing replacements, but it is what it is. Sometimes you have to do it. Sometimes things don't work out the way you want them to, but you still have to do your best, hope for the best, and again, maybe or hopefully you'll get blessed with the best. So remember that, guys and gals. Do your best, hope for the best, and you'll get blessed with the best. Have a good one, everybody. We're out of here. Catch you in the next one. Peace.